the BlaBlaBlacksheep. The BlaBlaBlacksheep podcast is a space for meaningful dialogue and insightful discussions that go beyond the surface. It's designed for those who feel like black sheep, individuals who don't fit the mold, but are not afraid to think differently. Each episode on this podcast tackles a variety of topics from personal growth to resilience, societal issues, and cultural critiques, all through the lens of curiosity, humor, and authenticity. Whether it's a deep dive into overcoming life's challenges, finding purpose, or breaking down stereotypes, BlaBlaBlacksheep offers a fresh perspective that inspires and engages listeners. Today we are launching Series 1 called Our Forefathers. This first series explores the power, the impact, and responsibility of fatherhood with a particular focus on Africa. I'm your host Ayanda, and each week we dive deep into real stories, some hard truths, and practical advice for fathers, for men, and for sons out there. Whether you're navigating the challenges of being a father or a son looking to reconnect with your own father, this is the place to learn, to grow, and break generational cycles. Join me as we explore how to be fathers to our children, to be the kind of fathers that they deserve, to be the kind of men that our society needs and our families are desperately wanting. This is Our Forefathers. Let's get started. Now you might be wondering, why fatherhood? Well, here's a stat to get you thinking. Over 60% of South African children are growing up without their biological fathers in the home. Over 60%. That's millions of children missing out on a father's love, on guidance and support. But here's the thing, fatherhood isn't just about being there. It's about being present, emotionally, mentally, physically, and otherwise in your whole fullness. It's about showing up in ways that matter. We're also going to talk about the absent fathers, the involved fathers, the teachers, the counselor father, the forefathers, as I mentioned. But this isn't just some lecture. This is about the personal and real life stories that I hope will challenge, encourage, and offer some wisdom for every listener out there. We'll also explore some real life stories to really make this practical. Stories of prominent men like Trevor Noah, Pitso Musimane, Hugh Masekela, to name but a few. These are African legends who face struggles and triumphs of fatherhood. Whether they had fathers in their lives or not, their stories offer powerful lessons. And it's not just their stories, it's your story too. Maybe you grew up without a dad. Maybe your father, like mine, was just trying to do the best that he was trying to do. Maybe you are also a father trying to figure things out, navigate the pressures of life, the interest rates, the petrol hikes, the wars, the instability of the times that we are living in, the demands, social media, all of it. Maybe you're just somewhere in between, trying to navigate your way, finding out what the right answers are to the questions that you seek. No matter where you are on your journey of manhood or masculinity, or fatherhood, this podcast is for you. We'll talk about how absent fathers impact kids at every stage, from birth, through school, and into adulthood. We'll look at the data and then at what the clever people have to say about the subject, those that study these things, and come up with all sorts of reports. But more importantly, we'll talk about how can we change this. I'm pretty sure, like myself, you want to make some impact. You want to leave a lasting legacy. You want to raise kids in a better manner than what you were raised and leave them set up for life so that they can be successful. Brothers, the power to break these cycles is in our hands. It's time for us to act. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on the platforms, turn on the notifications because you will not want to miss out on the episodes. The Series 1, here's what's coming up. You're going to learn how to discipline your kids with love, how to teach them life's lessons without overburdening them, and how to become a counselor when they need you most. We have to grow up with our kids. We'll explore how to rebuild relationships if you've been absent, and if you're a young man looking to reconnect with your father, we'll talk about why you should. and how you can do that. I'll be honest with you. This podcast is about tough conversations, and we'll have to confront some hard truths. But you know what? This with growth happens. And I promise you that in this walk, in this journey with me and other men that will be joining this BlaBlaBlacksheep podcast, you will become stronger, not just as a father, but as a man. So, are you ready to change the future of fatherhood? Are you ready to be the man your children need and the father they deserve? Are you ready to be the man that your community needs? If so, then join us. Let's get started with this series 1, Our Forefathers, on the BlaBlaBlacksheep podcast. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Stay tuned. Next Thursday, we drop episode 1 of this series. We'll be diving into what happens when fathers aren't there and how we can start making it right. I'll see you there. Cheers.